Hey everyone, J2JonJeremy here, and welcome to our first question and answer session. I have a feeling I'm going to regret this, but I committed to this, so let's get started. Keep in mind that if you want to submit your own questions, you can do so in the comments section of this video, as well as through social media on Twitter and Facebook. Let's get started. From Danielle Yost. What are the optimal ingredients for a sandwich? Well, Danielle, how about a Portuguese roll, some mayo, some turkey, gotta get that cheddar cheese in there, some ham, more cheddar cheese, and bacon. Nothing else matters. Don't listen to those fools who say lettuce, tomato, onions, none of that. None of that green nonsense. It's all about the meat. Alpha Knight 708 asks, do you ever feel weird sitting alone at your computer, talking to yourself? Only if no one watches, Alpha Knight. Only if no one watches. Also, whenever I go into a fit of laughter and the neighbors can, hear me, that's kind of embarrassing. But I still do it. JM asks, there was a thread on Reddit asking about good CK2 LPs, and someone there mentioned you and said you had a voice like chocolate. I agree, but how do you make it sound so good? Well, I think there's your answer right there, JM. I eat a lot of chocolate. Obviously, the facial complexion. No, I'm kidding. The facial complexion is genetics, unfortunately. But as far as my voice, I'm flattered, really, when people compliment it. I don't do anything in particular with it, other than use good equipment to record it. Whether it's the Sennheiser microphone that I use on a regular basis to record the videos, or even here right now when I'm using a Shure boom mic to capture my audio. Eckhod asks, if you were a character in Crusader Kings 2, what traits do you think you would have? Well, Eckhod, it turns out I had a lot of fun thinking about this because I wanted to really dive into my own psyche and figure out exactly what was going on. So I actually wrote it down right here. So, excuse me for 1 second as I read off this list. A one-eyed, indulgent wastrel who has been excommunicated, who is exceptionally weak, gluttonous, greedy, obviously, slothful, envious, wroth, proud, who's also craven, shy, for some reason is ambitious, arbitrary, and cynical. I think that makes the perfect J squared soup. Xavier Walsh asks, what is your favorite thing to do besides YouTube? Well, Xavier, sleep. I adore sleep. I love it. Can't get enough of it. If I could somehow perform YouTube work and do my real life job at the same time from my bed, I'd be in heaven. There's no doubt about it. Because I can't do that, obviously, I have to enjoy what sleep I can. And I have a very nice mattress that I spent a lot of money on that I enjoy going to bed in every night. I learned this very quickly. Wherever that you plan on doing your most time, you want to make sure that you're the most comfortable at it. It's why I have an expensive mattress. It's why I'm sitting right now in an expensive chair, because they will last a long time and they're worthwhile investments to have for your own comfort. also, of course, my computer. Waybig10101 asks, do you watch anime? Nope. Don't know what you're talking about. Anime? What's that? Is that some sort of, like, thing? I don't know. Not an. I'm not trying to be mean. No. Anyway, of course, I watch anime. I believe I've commented on it several times in the past. I watch a lot of it, actually. Jiri Vanden asks, how much time do you invest in your videos each day? Well, Jiri, it really depends. Especially considering we're now moving into this new format. I haven't yet really timed it all right just yet, but let's say we were talking about last year, for example. Last year, I would spend whatever amount of time I spent recording the actual gameplay, which, if there were a lot of cuts or transitions in between certain scenes in the videos, then I could have extended this series out quite a bit, actually. So let's just say, for each video that you saw, imagine that it was about an hour's worth of content recorded. Then from that, that's another hour's worth of editing, rendering, and uploading to YouTube to make sure everything's all right and everything. Maybe about 15 minutes just to make sure that the tags are in place, the title's good thumbnail. So altogether about 2 to 2.5 hours worth of work for an individual video. God, I spend a lot of time doing this. Homeland asks, tacos or burritos? And he mentions that he will judge me. You can judge me all you want, Homeland, okay? Here's the God's honest truth. All you need is a shell, hard or soft, doesn't matter, meat, and cheese. Maybe a little bit of hot sauce. That's it. That's all you need. All this extra nonsense, enchiladas, burritos, smothered, not smothered, none of that matters. You give me a taco with my ingredients in there, I will eat it happily every single day. Every day, doesn't matter. So, judge me. I dare you. King asks, in your videos, you sometimes mention historical facts. Do you only learn from or about the games you play, or do you have some special interest in history? Any favorite historical subjects? First off, King, I love history. Absolutely adore it. The true story here, though, is that I gained a love of history from video games. I'm not joking here. First off, back when I was about, yay high, which really isn't that much of a difference when I think about it, but, imagine, 10-year-old J squared. 10-year-old J squared is playing a game on the Sega Genesis called Pacific Theater of Operations. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, that was a game developed by Koei, and it was a game revolving around World War II, specifically the battle between the United States and Japan in the Pacific. And you would go out and you would try and play as one of these two nations and try and win the war. From that game, I grew an interest into history. On top of which, another game that I played called Dynasty Warriors revolved around Chinese history, specifically the period of the Three Kingdoms, where you had Wu, Wei, and Shu, Cao Cao, Sun Jian, and Liu Pei. And from that, I actually have the novel Three Kingdoms, written by a man called Lo Guansong, and he basically wrote this historical fiction novel out of that history, which then was transitioned into a simulation strategy game from Koei called Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and then was transitioned that into Dynasty Warriors, which is the hack and slash action game that you may be familiar with. So, yes, to answer your question, I adore history. And I find it funny that my love of it was garnered by something that should have no place in it, but does, and is quite good at it, actually. Byro asks, what's the first game that you completed? Byro, the first game that I actually ever finished was a game called Sid Meier's Pirates Gold for the Sega Genesis. I can recall sitting at my television with that game and that Sega Genesis for hours upon hours on end. It was one of those games where, regardless of, and probably the first time that this had happened to me, regardless of how long I had spent playing the game, I was not aware of the time that was spent. It was simply a matter of, wait, what? It's time to go to bed? Really? It was that good to me. And that was the first game that I truly completed. I don't really complete too many games, to be quite honest. But that one was the first. Great game. And I adore its the remake that came out back in the mid-2000s. And with that, I want to go ahead and end this Q&A with an answer of my own to a question that has yet been asked, but probably will be. What is wrong with your eye? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The reason why I'm not wearing glasses right now is because of just that. I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about this. Turns out that J2JonJeremy has only one of something, and that's an eye. That's right. I have one eye, specifically the right eye is the good one in this case. The left eye is in fact a prosthetic, a replacement for a condition known as Coates disease, which took my left eye. Random luck of the draw, nothing that could have been done. It was pure genetics, and I rolled snake eyes, as it were. So I chose to have my eye, the real one, removed due to pain that it was causing, and I had the prosthetic created. Now, the prosthetic, in any prosthetics case when it comes to ocular prosthetics, there probably is going to be a droop, a kind of a lazy eye situation. So that's pretty much what anybody thinks when they see me without my glasses on. They think that I have a lazy eye. And that's true, but not for the reasons that they're thinking. Turns out that once we have the technology, I will be getting a Terminator eye. At least a bionic eye of some sort. Which I'm glad that I live in this day and age where I can actually say that, and it might actually come true at one point. But that's just me giving out some information here, because I'm sure if I'm going to be doing more of these videos in the future, it's going to be asked. So I might as well just come out right now and say what's going on. That's it for this Q&A session. If you have more questions, if you have a question of your own now that you'd like to share or ask, please post it in the comments section below. Or you can hit me up on social media, on Twitter and on Facebook. And I leave you with one question of my own. What brought you to my channel?